Is it time that airlines revise the rules of flying? I ask that because of the terrible flight mishaps that have been happening around the world. On Sunday, a Qatar Airways flight was headed to Dublin from Doha. While flying over Turkey, the plane was hit with turbulence. 12 people got injured. The flight landed in Dublin little before 1 p.m. local time. On arrival, it was met by emergency services, including airport police and the fire and rescue department. 8 of the injured were taken to the hospital after assessment. Imagine sustaining injuries due to turbulence. Until a few days ago, it would have sounded odd. But after what happened aboard the Singapore Airlines flight last week, it's not too difficult to digest. That plane, remember, dropped 6,000 feet due to turbulence. A passenger died, 30 others were injured. And now we have another such turbulence-related incident in a matter of days. The fact is, incidents of turbulence are increasing around the world. For the longest time, flight turbulence has been a manageable affair. It is very common after all. In the US alone, for example, about 65,000 aircraft suffer moderate turbulence every year. 5,500 run into severe turbulence. But now we have people dying or landing in the ICU because of turbulence. Clearly, things have changed. While aircraft are equipped with sophisticated weather radar systems to detect and avoid turbulence, there are certain types of turbulence that can be harder to spot. One of them is clear air turbulence. It can strike without warning and is one of the biggest causes of weather-related aviation accidents. It is the one that sent the Singapore Airlines flight shaking and people being thrown around the cabin. Some passengers were thrown out of their seats and went on to hit the ceiling. Clear air turbulence cannot be seen by the naked eye. It's also undetectable by onboard sensors. Even satellites cannot see this kind of turbulence. And the bad news is, climate change is making clear air turbulence more common. Let me explain why that's happening. Turbulence is an irregular motion of the air. And what is climate change doing? It's increasing the temperature difference between the warm and the cold air masses. And this air and these two types of air collide to form the jet stream in the upper atmosphere. And as the temperature difference between them is increasing, it's making the jet stream less stable and causing more turbulence. My point here is simple. Things have changed. The frequency and severity of turbulence is not the same as it used to be, say, a decade ago. Then the question is, why should our rules stay the same? If bad turbulence is the new normal, shouldn't we start adapting to it? Shouldn't our rules evolve? We do fasten our seatbelts when the plane takes off or lands. We also do so when there is a warning for turbulence. But like I said, clear air turbulence cannot be detected. So then what's the solution? Keeping our seatbelts on at all times, perhaps? But you see, the onus should not be on the passenger alone. It should be on the airline and the aviation authorities. If you are welcoming travelers aboard, it has to be ensured that they have a safe experience, that they don't come out of the flight with injuries. Even if this involves putting inconvenient rules in place and asking people to wear their seatbelts at all times. Yes, that might be convenient for the passengers, but it's safe. And we need to make flying safe again. Clear air turbulence is predicted to be 4 times as common by 2050, 4 times more common. There's simply no time to lose. The authorities need to act now. In the meantime, here are a few tips to stay safe when experiencing turbulence. Keep your seatbelts on for sure. Do not walk around unless you absolutely have to. Be mindful of the baggage kept in the overhead storage area. Book a seat near the wingspan in the center of the plane for a smooth flying experience. By doing that, you will be near the plane's center of mass, which basically means that you will be less likely to be affected by wind, drag, and lift. The front of the plane also experiences lesser turbulence. than the seats at the back, which are more affected by wind hitting the tail of the aircraft. Of course, not everyone will be able to secure the safer seats, the so-called safer seats, but you can consider doing so while booking a flight the next time. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.